Fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
No, just gotta win by one, man.
Yeah. Yes.
Someone bought a beer for me. This is great. They love us here.
What's up, man? That's why we play 2 halves, all right? We're down 3. Big deal, man. Because you know what? We still got this guy. If we remember correctly, we were down last year until the end. We needed the game in a shot, so.
Let's go.
Buckle at the buzzer again. Let's go.
Let's go.
Aztecs give them House State. Woo!
Who are you texting, Finn? Who are you texting?
He's checking the analytics. That's exactly the fuck he's doing. What a dork.
How much you be dropping 10 phones?
No, I ain't looking at that. It's too much. It's too hard for girls. We lost on the road. We were going underdogs.
We just got beat. They're a better team today.
They were a better team today, and they had a home court energy. They are a really good team. When they play at the pit, when they play at the pit, they're a great team. I'm sorry, but the stats don't lie. That's the hard truth that you are having to learn about metrics, dude.
No, they did.
Like brothers.
They did. They did because they always do that at home. That's what they are. You take them on the road, they're a totally different animal. We get them on February 16th, 8 p.m. I'm f***ing ready, man. Because that Aztec crowd at VA House Arena is just going to be off the f***ing hook.
I'm just worried about Nevada. Just looking forward to Nevada. That's all I'm looking at. I don't care about New Mexico in a month from now. Hey, trying to get home. So we'll go get W on Wednesday. When I come down for the game.
Oh, fellas, did you enjoy that? Did you enjoy that? I know I surely did. That was
good.
comedy.
Nice.
What's going on, everybody? What's going on? It's the Sons of Montezuma Kiss the Rings episode. We are very happy to be here with you, and we're very happy that you are here with us. Can't play the fight song to start the show. Can't do it, guys. Can't do it. But you know what it is? It is a birthday episode. It's a birthday podcast for me. That's right. It is absolutely my birthday. So I'm pleased to be here. Pleased to be here on planet Earth. And to me in San Diego, to be honest with you, make it back home in one piece. So okay, guys. We thank you for joining. Make sure you are checking out none other than sonsofmontezuma.com for all of our episodes, articles, products, NIL store, of course. Sonsofmontezuma.com. Support the players on the team and, of course, all the efforts that we do. Really appreciate it. As you guys are coming into the YouTube live, hey, we'll get to all your questions, comments, and concerns in due time. It's already lively. We knew it was going to be a lively one, guys, and I'm glad you guys are here with me. We made the trip to Albuquerque, and joining me, well, you guys know me. It's Mateo San Diego. You can find me at Mateo's San Diego on Twitter or X, whatever you call it. Joining me, he's I don't know if he's 100% just yet. We just got back off the trip, but it's good to have him here. Is none other than, you cannot stop him. You can only hope to contain him. It is SD Sports Fiend. What's up, Fiend? How are you doing?
I'm doing well, man. I had a really good time in Albuquerque. A couple of days was good to get away from here. Pretty cold out there, not gonna lie. But I was all bundled up and was hoping for an Aztec dub, but that pit, man, we'll get into it. But that is a very tough place to play.
Yeah, it sure is. We're gonna get into all of it, as you guys saw from our little highlight video. There's a lot to get to. He went from East County to East Tahoe. Now he's up there in the greater Reno area. It is Mike Tortolai. How you doing, Mike?
Good, guys. Good weekend. It was actually warmer in Albuquerque than it was at my house, so I liked it. I had fun, man. But it was fun to hang out with you guys for the weekend. And, you know, try some good food and see Albuquerque and get to the pit. So it was a good trip. I mean, except for one thing, but overall, it's a good trip.
Well, it is an MLK Day, Martin Luther King Day. Shares my birthday as well. Hope everybody enjoyed their day, had the day off. If you didn't, I hope you are enjoying your day as well, guys. Where do we begin? Where do we begin? There was 3 of us here on the podcast, but there was 4 actually on the trip. And so we've had him in and out a few different episodes before. We don't want to leave him left out because he is a very crucial part to the Sons of Monte team, or all of our daily correspondence, and helps us out a ton. So we want to bring into the show. Hope you guys enjoy it. It is, well, I used to call him Aztec Andy, but his Twitter handle is @SirAndys. You can find him. What's going on, Andy? Good to see you make the show. Love the hat.
Thank you. Good to see you guys, and big happy birthday to you, Mateo.
Thank you very much. Okay, guys, we made the trip that not many people dare make. We went to the belly of the beast. Us 4 met up in Albuquerque, or as they say, ABQ. Guys, did it live up to any preconceived notion that you guys had? Because I know I hadn't been there since I was a kid, and kind of being there, it was an interesting place, man. I mean, a little desolate. Like, I didn't see any trees. It felt like there were no trees in the area, so it was kind of like, okay, are we on a different planet? Are the aliens gonna pop up anytime soon? Mike, what were your initial impressions on ABQ and all that we did there, man?
I mean, it's kind of like, it reminds me of like the Midwest. I mean, it is the Midwest. It reminds me of Oklahoma a little bit. You know what I mean? But not as it's a little more spread out and stuff. There's some nice parts. I got to drive around for it. I picked you guys up on Friday, and some other areas that were newer up north a little bit. But it was cool. You know what I mean? I enjoyed it, just seeing different parts of the country, and seeing how, going to the pit. I hadn't been there before. I'd never been to New Mexico. I mean, it was fine. It wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. Everybody talks up like it's the best thing ever. I kind of similar when I went to Kansas City Arrowhead when the Chargers played there. Everybody was like, "Oh, it's the loudest stadium." I'm like, whatever, dude. But it was fascinating to see House feed off the crowd. I've never seen a player feed off a crowd like he fed off the crowd before. It was crazy.
We'll get into the game. We'll get into this. We won't give House too much love.
I'll give him props, dude. That was
okay. All right. Enough of you, Andy. What'd you think about ABQ, man? What were your thoughts about Albuquerque?
Yeah, definitely an interesting place, and we saw a lot of characters out and about too, out on Route 66 and by the university. But extremely desolate place, and I mean, just making the trip over there, you're just looking at the landscapes, and it's pretty neat, pretty dry. But I like the Nob Hill area by the university. That was a pretty sweet place. Checked out a few spots down there. Got some good food, a bunch of green chili, cheesesteaks, green chili pasta, and of course checking out the pit was really neat as well. It's definitely it's a pretty solid venue. I thought that at its loudest, it's Viejas is right up there next to it for sure.
Well, it is called the Land of Enchantment, and some of the locals there were telling us it's more like the Land of Entrapment. The locals were saying that. Fiend, I see Sarah talking about characters. We first thing we did was we pretty much went to Walgreens, and dude, there was like armed guards outside of Walgreens. Fiend, I mean, did it feel like you were in an episode of Breaking Bad, considering Mike didn't watch one episode leading up to this?
I mean, I thought it was a little strange that there were just cops hanging out. It looked like they were waiting to bust someone that was trying to intercept someone coming to the store. What was it that they said to you guys? I wasn't there when you talked to the police or security guards there, but what was it that they said to you, Andy?
Yeah, Mike just went up to the officers and he asked, "Why is all the merchandise behind this glass? Like, why is it locked up?" And one of the officers just said, "Dead face, straight face." it's just a horrible city. And the other two officers just agreed with them. And I was not expecting that for Albuquerque's finest to say that.
All right. Let's not be too hard on them. Some of the Frontier was good. Definitely got some good food there, as Andy noted, all that good stuff. So yeah, it was a cool trip. I'm glad you guys made it with me. And let's get into the game. All right. Let's do it, guys. Because after all the sightseeing and cruising around and all the, checking out the landscape, it was time for the game. And we knew what we were there for. We were going into the pit. It is a college basketball landmark on this side of the country. Rightfully so. New Mexico has built up a very proud reputation for that building and that program. But, this game, we knew what we were getting into. So, Fiend, starting the game off, the Aztecs, of course, fell 88-70, I believe that was the score. They started off really good. They started off strong. I mean, to me, they looked clear, focused. The offense it was clicking, despite like Ladie not necessarily having tons of touches in the first half. Like guys were really, really showing up pretty well, and the offense was clicking. So Fiend, what were your like initial thoughts on that first?
I mean, I thought the first 7 minutes we really controlled that game, and we came out, we knocked them in the mouth pretty hard. If it hadn't been for Amzil hitting those threes, I think it would have even been a bigger lead. And the reason why we left him open is because he hasn't hit any 3-pointers this year. And so I think that was probably the right strategy to do, but he knocked him down. And then all of a sudden, then House just went off. I think we were up 12 with like 12 minutes to go in the half, and it became the House show. I think he scored like the next 11 points to cut it to 1, and they were right back in it. So they they were on the verge out there, I think, of being in real trouble had House not kind of put the team on his back. And like Mike said, that guy feeds off the crowd. They feed off of him, and it just snowballed. And Aztecs just kept making mistake after mistake, bad shot after bad shot, and the Lobos took the lead, But I still felt pretty good because we were only down 3 going into half on the road. So I felt pretty confident we were going to come out and play better second half.
Yeah, definitely looked like, the moment wasn't going to be too big. The game, the flow of the game, I think is something we're going to talk about a lot in this episode. But the flow of the game looked very much, I don't want to say in our favor per se, but yeah, when you get a 15-point lead, you're looking at the game, you're thinking, okay, this team, they're able to adjust to some of the new players like who you listed. What was his name? Is his name Mustafa or something like that? Anyways, Mike, I believe it was around like the 7-minute mark or so, things kind of started. You could feel the energy shift a bit. Some of the attitudes started flowing a little different. Of course, some of the whistles started sounding a little different. You just started noticing like a no call here or there. You know what I mean? No call on House when Trammell was going up for a 3-point shot, kind of led to a fast break, and then you see a no call on what's his name, Junior Joseph. Is that his name? Big boy, good player. As Ladie is driving in the paint, he gets basically knocked down to the ground. No call. Certain things started to shift, and before you know it, House is leading the charge, man. What were your thoughts during that whole momentum shift?
I mean, it was just like that. They went on a 17-0 run basically in the half. So it's like that's tough to stomach. And if you don't come out in the second half and do something quick, it just snowballs, and it did. So, like I said, I mean, it was something interesting to watch House feed off that crowd. He's a showman. I mean, he's a showman. And when it's going good, it's going good, but when it's going bad for him, he's kicking on the ground, screaming and crying and stuff like that. So, but, I don't know, man, like we sometimes we have these games. We've had the game against Utah State a couple years ago where we got blown out, and then we flipped the switch and turned it on. Nevada, 19, same thing. They blew us out, and then we went on a run. But like, it was an interesting game. It was a really interesting game. I mean, I think, whatever happened between, the lines is whatever happened between the lines. But when, House hits a 3 and then basically, torments the bench right in front of him, there's no technical foul. That kind of tells you all you need to know about how the refs were dealing that game. And, take it for what you will. I mean, they lose that game, they're 4 down, you know what I mean? Basically 4 down or something like that to us. And, I don't know. It's just a tough one to swallow. But hey, you know what? They played better at home. They beat us. They throttled us. And now it's time to move on. You can't, trip over your past. So let's move forward, learn from it, and get better. You know what I mean? That's all you can do. Nothing else you can do about it. Just learn from it, move on.
Ooh, definitely a little bit of a frustrating one. When we talk about our guys, it feels like, okay, I tweeted it out there. Ledee only had like 8 shots at a certain point. I think it was like at the half leading into the second half. Fiend, I mean, in your mind, was there anything maybe different to get him some more touches? Because I mean, that whole momentum shift, you need somebody to be able to cut that thing, with a knife and just say, okay, we're gonna put the end to this run. We got to shift the momentum somehow. It didn't seem like us trying to play that hand check ball the way that they were playing with us was gonna work. Was there something you were seeing different, perhaps?
Are we talking about the run in the first half to close out the first half?
Yeah, because that was a big one. I mean, that was the big one to get them back into the game.
I mean, I think New Mexico just did a really good job of speeding us up on defense, or with their defense. And what it really came down to is we made some really just bad decisions with the ball. We were turning the ball over. We made there were just some bad shots. And so I think plus House, he just flipped the switch. I mean, he flipped the switch. He's hitting threes, jumpers, getting fouled, going to the line. I don't want to blame this on like the refs. I think people are overblowing that it's the refs' fault, or that Jayden didn't get enough touches, or that Jayden made some bad mistakes with the ball. Jayden took some bad shots. Jayden, I think, tried to do too much. And we really needed to, play more team basketball. That's what you have to do to go on the road and win in a tough environment. You can't play hero ball and expect to win. And I felt like we did that a lot in that game. And so that was what was kind of frustrating me. And not so much, the non-calls or the whistles. And, they had 11 blocks. No, they have 14 blocks, I think, but 11 of them were in the first half, and they did a really good job of swatting us at the rim, and so I have to give the Lobos a lot of credit. I mean, I think they just played a great defensive game plan. They dictated to us how the game was going to be played after a certain point. And I know Mike always talks about this, like, we play our game. We don't play their game. They made us play their game. And so that was probably, one of the most frustrating things about it.
Yeah, that's a good way of pointing that out. Angelica, thank you for the super sticker. If you got a question, comment, let us know. We definitely want to make sure you are getting your super sticker worth in this episode. A big supporter. Thank you again for the good treats. That was awesome on the trip. Mike, talking about those blocks that the Lobos had that was very uncharacteristic. Man, it really had you wondering, like, what aliens came down and switched bodies, with New Mexico, the Aztecs, or the refs. Like, when it comes to New Mexico, I mean, 14 blocks ties a school record. Well, they only had 11 in the 3 previous games we read. So, I mean, these were some like out of body experiences and performances they were playing. I mean, they're talking about their big freshman in the middle and his ability to really just grab all the boards and kind of get away with that physical play that for some reason we weren't getting that same benefit of the doubt. who would you say was more surprising and got abducted by aliens? The Aztecs, the Lobos, or the refs?
I don't know, man. I just think they played a really good game. They just played an all-world game. I mean, topping with 17 and 16 is kind of crazy. I mean, that's amazing. But 14 blocks is kind of 11 in the first half. And I mean, I don't know, man. That doesn't really happen to us very often, but it sometimes it happens. I mean, what do you do? Like we talked about is sometimes just things happen at the right time at the right place, and that was their game to ball out, and they won. They just beat us. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna sit here and blame anything else. I mean, we lost by what, 17, basically 20. So that's just a bad game, man. And it happens once in a while. So we're usually pretty good about rebounding from those games and learning from the mistakes and getting better from them. So, I mean, I don't know, man. Like they just had a great game. We had a bad game. I think some point, I don't like to blame the refs either, but like, the way they're calling a game does affect the way the players play the game. You got a couple fouls on guys, like look at Ledee and Waters, and Butler and Waters, and I think someone else had some quick fouls early, Parrish, and then that changes the whole dynamic of the rotation and stuff. So it's just a tough game, man. I mean, what are you gonna do? They beat us, we lost. It's on Nevada. Let's worry about them. Get home, win a game where we typically don't, knock on wood, lose at home after a loss on the road. So hopefully we can keep that momentum and then just get back on track and get to 4-1.
Well, I do want to get into a little thing that you brought up, and that was Mark Ziegler's article a little bit more. Some of the officiating that he really did a kind of a deep dive into that whole situation and what he saw. And this is Mark Ziegler, man. I mean, this is the beat writer for the team, like, wonderful, wonderful writer of these articles. And he really went down on the specifics of these three officiating crew. You don't want to put everything on the officiating crew, right? Because sometimes you just have these games. Fiend called it. What this Lobos team is at home. They don't lose very often. But some of these things you can't really ignore when someone like a Ziegler writes that type of article. And you see it with your own eyes. I mean, you're not getting the same type of treatment that the Aztecs have been playing all season long up to this point. I mean, Ledee's getting at least 9-10 free throws a game. The action is there every single game. And Ziegler made an interesting point as far as kind of the watering down of the referee grade on the west side of college basketball. I want to say his name correctly. I don't want to botch his name, but he was talking about John Higgins moving out of. He's like one of the more experienced refs, and him having to kind of be promoted to like an overseer role of the Western basketball conferences, and then now even with the Pac-12's dissolution, that kind of heightens the potential for the refs. It heightens for their ability to go down, their grades levels to go down, because those quality games are going to be leaving. So I don't want to get too much in the weeds, which that kind of is, but how do you even fathom those points and those specific mentions? I mean, I don't know what you think about that, Mike, Fiend, if you got any comments about that.
Sure, I'll comment on that. I think those shit refs. We got really low-rated refs. Hadn't worked in the pit before, and we got some doo-doo ass refs, man. One guy was like in the 300s, the other one was there, and they were used to it and stuff. So, we should be getting higher-rated refs, especially a game like that, on a nationally televised game, but whatever, man. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, fuck it. I mean, what are we gonna do? You got to play. Like Johnson entered Saturday's number 115, which is better than 365 and 300. He was in 2021 and 21-22. That's his ranking. His Ken Palm ranking. We shouldn't be getting refs that low, man. I'm sorry. That's just And sometimes those guys, like Dutcher said, I love Dutcher. He's never gonna say anything venomous about anybody. He's like, hey, sometimes it's a hard job. Sometimes they do the best they can. Sometimes they do good. Sometimes they don't. You know what I mean? And that's, they just didn't. So hey, it was a myriad of chaos. They played well. We didn't play well. There's other factors and stuff like that. whatever, man. I mean, at this point, it's like whatever. Move on to the next game and try and remedy those ills with a W at home.
I really think it's a deflection of blame. I think it's a cop out, honestly, when you start going after the refs, because New Mexico New Mexico. Well, I'm not gonna take that same path. All right, New Mexico,
Grammer, Ziegler, everybody's talking about it.
Okay, but
so I mean, you don't have to. But I think you're wrong.
I'm not going to talk about it, Mike. All right, I'm not. I think it's a cop out. That's just my personal opinion. Okay, because New Mexico has like 18.7 personal fouls per game, and they got 18 fouls. They got exactly as many fouls as they commit. It's not like they only got 12, right? Okay, that would be a shocking disparity. But I don't think the refs really controlled the outcome of this game. I think we shot ourselves in the foot. We got over emotional. We did a lot of stupid stuff. I mean, that technical foul on Jay Powell, yeah, maybe Washington grabs him, but there's no need to push that guy. I mean, the guy who retaliates is always the one who's going to get hit with the technical foul. And that's what happened. And then we go out and we can't hit any free throws. And then on their technical fouls, everyone but Toppin could hit a free throw on their team. And here's the bottom line. Here's the bottom line. You want to know the real problem of what happened is it was 53-50 Lobos with 13:06 to go in the second half. We were only down 3 with 13 minutes left in the game. All right. So despite all the stuff that happened for all the blocks, all that crap, we're still only down 3. Right. And then it's our defense. We start ducking under screens. Waters is guarding House, ducks under a screen. House hits a 3. Powell comes down, misses a 3. Then, he gets a foul. And then we allow guys to drive middle. We're allowing all these guards to drive middle on us. It's driving me nuts. We used to be a pack line defense where we would funnel people to the baseline. And now they're going middle, and you got guys like Amzil and Washington, hitting these shots on us. And then Mass just killed us mid-range because we can't hedge. We can't hard hedge on a screen at the top. Our centers are ducking down. They're sitting in the paint. And so we're just giving them wide open looks in like their sweet spot where they hit shots. And then it was just one bad shot after one bad shot. And at 10:36. So in 3 minutes, we're down 13. That was the game right there.
Oh man. Should I have cut him off, Mike? Should I have put the clock ticking? That was kind of a long take.
No, that's his opinion, man. I respect it. I don't necessarily 100% agree with it, but yeah, I think one thing leads to another. There's some non sequiturs and some non sequiturs that are involved in a game like that when things go that way.
And I love the everyone's going to these photos. They're going to still photos. How can you? I'm looking in the chat here. How can you go to a still photo?
Yeah,
it's so. Show me the video. Show me in slow motion video what happens. Don't show me a photo.
Oh man, I would have prepared some videos, but I don't want to get flagged for copyright stuff because we're on YouTube, so I don't want to do all that. But listen, I think you would be a fool to think that the refs did not have an influence in the game, and I don't think that's what you're arguing against, Fiend. But I agree with your sentiment that it's not the reason why this game was lost. I mean, it
didn't determine the outcome. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. For these refs, Andy brought us a good point. It was their first time reffing in the pit, and we were there. We got to experience the energy, the way that they produce every game. I mean, they put a lot of thought and effort into how they really, present the game to the fans. I know we made a mention of it, Fiend. It hyped us up because we want to come back to Viejas in February and get a crack at these guys back home. There needs to be that energy, you know what I mean? And it's not just starts with us, the fans. It's a whole it's a whole myriad of things that are put together to make that place an intimidating place. Were we intimidated? Of course not. I mean, we knew what we were getting into. Mike, the dude sitting in front of us every time New Mexico hit a shot, he's looking back and looking me right in the eyes, like, yeah. Like,
typical.
I mean,
That's typical. That's
these
typical fans who
characters.
don't be. Yeah, like typical fans like that do that. Last year when we lost to Nevada, people were hustling me. I'm like, dude, why I don't hear you talking shit when we blow you out every time? Where are you then? So it's just human nature. It's like when you don't win that much, you run your mouth, and when you win a lot, you're like, all right, man, you guys beat us. Good job.
Yeah, and we got to expect this. You know, when you're on the top for how many championships? I mean, like we've said from the beginning, everybody's gunning for us. They wanted this game bad. You know who wanted this game real bad, guys? A Mr. Jaylen House. Leads me to this question because, you know, I heard it this weekend from one source, and then I hear it from another source. One detailed Jaylen House's performance or play, or just summarized his night, that he was a clown. The other person said he's a showman. So I want to leave it to you guys. What did you guys think of Jaylen House's performance? This could have been a shot clock question. I don't think we're going to do those tonight because this is serious business. What do you guys think? Is Jaylen House a clown or a showman? Fiend, shoot it.
I think he's definitely a showman. I like Janet in the chat here is immediately saying he's a clown.
Janet, it was great to meet you too, Janet. It was so great to see you and your crew. Aztecs fans made it out there. We weren't alone. Sorry about that.
He's a very emotional player. I mean, I respect. I think he'd be great if he was on our team. He would, you know, we would love him. But since he's on the other team, we absolutely hate him. I will say last year when we hit the shot at the buzzer, that was pretty bad sportsmanship of him to just kind of walk off without, you know, shaking the hands of the Aztec team. I mean, you know, you can do all that talk, but at the end of the game, you should show good sportsmanship, and so I don't have some respect for him in that respect. But other than that, he is the stir that, you know, the straw that stirs the Lobos forward, and you know, he's just a great player, and they're really tough when he's on his game.
Okay, Mike, here's a great one from you, from Sarah. She says, reminds me of Jamal. If he's yours, you love him, hated by all others. That's an interesting point, interesting perspective.
I don't think you put Jamal anywhere near what House's mentality is. I think House is a showman when he's winning. I think he's a clown when he's losing. You know what I mean? I mean, there's no doubt the dude can play ball. I mean, there's no doubt that guy can play ball. You got to respect his game when he's on. He's one of the best players, shooters in the country. I mean, let's not forget, Mashford had a great game too. Mashford balled out too. I mean, he had some tough, you know what I mean? But like, I don't know, it's New Mexico. You know, I mean, they're that's kind of how they are. I remember a few years back when we beat New Mexico and Mike Brown's kid, I can't remember his name, at Viejas, we beat him and they were pissed. And he went and got all the guys. They weren't going to shake hands, and he went and grabbed him out of the locker room and brought him back and said, hey, you got to shake hands. You got to be good sportsmanship. And I respect that guy for that. Like, you know what I mean? That I saw that because my seats are right behind the visitors bench. So I saw him do that. And I was like, okay, dude, like this dude, he's a great player, but that tells me more about a person than how they play on the court. But yeah, I mean, you know, that's House, man. You know, when the going's good, the going's good. When the going's bad, it's going's bad. You know what I mean? So, but you know, hey, you know, he can play, and you got to give him credit. And so can Toppin to go 17 and 16 as a freshman. That's pretty impressive, man. So, you know, hey, they had their day. We've had more days than them. You know what I mean? But we'll worry about that when we worry about that. We have other games to worry about before we get to them again.
Yeah. I don't want to beat this thing to death too much, but yeah, it's good. It is true. Lonzo Ball can do it all. New Mexico always seems to have some sort of sportsmanship issue, and it's so true. I mean, talk about their coaches back in the days, right? Who's up there in Nevada, who we are about to see. I mean, just some interesting characters out there. And what can you do? What can you do, guys? Okay, let's look at some of these comments. Anybody got any questions or comments? We want to take a look at them before we move on. But Nevada is going to be here on Wednesday. They are going to be here, and it's going to be a big one. You know, on our appeal out there, on our marketing appeal, it was kind of like this was a statement game, right? It definitely was for the Lobos. For them, they needed to make this type of statement. Otherwise, they were going to be very desperate. Well, what's the statement game for us? I mean, New Mexico, we didn't really have anything to prove against these guys. I mean, national championship runner up. We weren't as emotionally invested in this game. I knew going in there the odds were stacked against us because I don't care who you are, you go to the pit. It's tough. So I think I came out, you know, with a bit of a clear mind and knowing it's part of the journey. You know, this is all part of the journey. Talk about last year, we lost to New Mexico first in early in the conference year as well. So you just got to learn and grow. And this is a different team than last year. You gotta find out what's the right formula. What's the pull the right strings moving forward. But let's see. Nevada. That's the statement game now. That's the statement game because you lose like this in conference, you got to bounce back. You got to bounce back. You know, you can't lose 2 in a row and get behind the ball that ways with the rest of the season going at home. Got to protect home court. That's always number one. Lobos did it. Now it's our turn to do it. Whew. Fiend, looking at Nevada. Or should I go to Mike? Should I go to Mike? You are Mr. Reno, East Tahoe. Any tidbits of info we should know about the Wolfpack?
I mean, they're a good team, man. Like I haven't seen too much of them, but I know they're a good team. They're deeper this year. They've got more experience. Their best scorer is Lucas, but their best player is Blackshear. I really love his game, dude. Like even a couple years ago when he's been matured and stuff like that, he does take some silly fouls sometimes. If he cleans that up, he's a very good player. So, you know, I think the next game is a statement game for us for the rest of the year. The statement game for every team is the next game because it's like we talked about with some of the guys at the airport. Whoever wins this conference is going to lose 4 or 5 games. I truly believe that. And if you lose any less than 4, you're 100% going to win this conference. But that is the mark. So you got to get back on the horse. You got to defend home court. If you can defend home court and pick off 50% of your wins on the road, you're gonna probably win the conference. So Nevada's a good team. I kind of told you guys. I don't know. I can't remember if I said it on the pod, but I said if anybody's going to win the conference besides us, I think it's Nevada. Not because I live here, but because I see them more and I get to look at them and stuff like that and see how they are and stuff. So I guess part of it is because I live here because I get to see them more often. But they're a good team, man. I mean, all these teams are good. You know, I think Nevada's better than New Mexico, and I think UNLV's better than New Mexico, but we just got blown out by New Mexico. So you don't have to be the best team. You just got to be the best team that night.
Fiend, any thoughts on this Nevada Wolfpack team coming into Viejas on Wednesday?
Well, like Mike said, Jared Lucas is, you know, their biggest scorer. He's kind of like House in that he draws a lot of fouls, draws a lot of contact. He talks a lot. He tries to get in your head. And so he's a guy that you can't let get under your skin. And we're going to have to do a good job of not falling for his antics because he's just really experienced and he knows how to draw fouls. He's just really savvy player, good player. And I too like Keenan Blackshear. I think he's a great point guard for them. He's, a big mismatch because of his size. And the two of those guys are the leaders on the team. I will say that they're coming off a loss at home, which was a little surprising. I thought that they would play better than they did against Boise State, and we watched that game. And it looked like Boise just kind of worked them. They were out-muscled, out-hustled, and they couldn't match up physically with Boise. Maybe that will work out to our advantage. But I don't know. We'll see how they bounce back because they're looking at this as kind of like a must game. So, you drop a game at home that you should win, then you need to go out and steal one on the road, to get back to even. So I think it's going to be both teams are looking for a bounce back game and need this win. So it's going to be it's going to be a battle. I'm just glad that we're playing this game at home in front of our crowd. I think that will have some influence on this.
Yeah, I mean, and by Wednesday night at 11 o'clock, one of these two teams are going to have back-to-back losses and 2 losses in conference. One of us. That just shows you it's crazy. You know what I mean? That's it's going to happen. And then New Mexico plays Utah State on Tuesday too. So, I mean, that's wild, man. You know, Boise State and Utah State are playing the best ball right now, and we just got to take care of Nevada and defend home court, and then we'll worry about Thursday on Thursday.
Okay. Woo. Okay, guys. A quick little timeout in the episode. Just want to send some love, of course, to Caliware SD, supporters of Sons of Montezuma and our NIL team members this year. And of course, you know, some of the guys from the EHOs were watching this past Saturday at Novo, the new Novo brewery there in Mission Valley. If you guys haven't heard, Novo released their Nova. It's a hard kombucha, and they partnered with the Mesa Foundation, which is an NIL official partner with San Diego State basketball men's and women's teams. So those proceeds, some of those proceeds there from that Nova kombucha, they go towards the basketball programs through Mesa Foundation. So definitely want to have you guys go check that out. Shout out to Sergio, Mel, Big O, and Andrew El Chino for making their way down to that watch party. I know they had a good time down there. That place looks awesome. I can't wait to go check that out. Okay. Woo. I see. Like Mike says, one game at a time from Angelica. Thank you for chatting, Angelica. Thank you for your super chat. Got to get you highlighted in here. Got to make sure. Okay. I don't remember, but Sergio asked, what was the worst chant at the pit? Did you notice any chants really? It had a couple. They were kind of regular stuff. Some stuff we do too. Nothing sticks out. I guess not that creative out there.
They're all cousins. Hey, Angelica, thanks for the Oreo cookies. That was great. Those were cool. Thank you for that. That was really kind of you.
Okay, I like this question for you, Fiend. Who is your top 4 currently? I'm assuming that's in the Mountain West, but maybe even nationally if you're feeling froggy.
I'll stick with the top 4 in the Mountain West. I still think on a neutral court we're the best team. Much respect to New Mexico, but they got to prove that they can win games on the road. You know, obviously coming off that loss at UNLV where they played horribly and then bounced back and played like they were a number 1 seed against us. So I would put us at number 1 right now. I think I might put Boise at number 2. The way that they're playing, they've been tested like we were in the non-conference. They played a lot of tough games. I think they lost 4 games, but they're on a roll right now. And so I think I would put them at number 2. Number 3, I'd probably have to give Utah State right now. And then I'll put New Mexico at 4. So those would be my top 4.
Okay, all right. You want to take a stab at that, Mike, or I got another question for you?
Yeah, I don't care about top 4. We're number 1. That's all that matters. Next question.
Reese Waters had 2 or 3 games this year where he looked like the best player on the court. Not sure how much the injury is having on his game right now, but Aztecs need much more from him going forward. This was a game I thought Reese was really going to light it up, man. I thought he was going to shine. Not sure if that injury is nagging, though. I would have to think so. And I mean, the energy of that game, it was tough for anybody to get on, you know what I mean?
I don't know, man. Like he's still in the first year of playing as a starter. So, he's still kind of getting used to the team and stuff like that. And sometimes he's going to have a couple games where he's just not there. You saw with Trammell last year, he had great games. And then sometimes he just is like, where was he? You know what I mean? So I think he's gonna be fine as he gets some more under his belt, and maybe that ankle's still hurting him a little bit. But I think I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's going on with the team. You know what I mean? I can't tell what's going on with him or something like that. I know, he's sometimes I think he's a lot better off one or two dribbles and then shooting it, or getting off the pick and roll and then shooting it like that. I think he's a pure, pop and shoot guy. I like that out of him. He's very, very good at it. So I think it's just the flow of the year. I mean, you're not going to have a guy look at Jayden. He's had 34 and 17, and then sometimes he has like 13 and 7. So, they're going to have, you're not going to be elite every single game. You're going to have some off games. And I just think that's just the natural flow of the season for him. He'll be fine.
Agreed. Whew, okay. Well, talking a little bit about the rest of the Mountain West is okay, but it's a long season, guys. This is the beginning of the Mountain West season. Like I said, the journey is really we're getting into the thick of the journey now. You know what I mean? And you figure some things out, you tinker some things out. I know last episode we were talking about, okay, is Jay Powell ready for starters minutes? I mean, this was a game he had some flashes. A lot of guys had different flashes in this game, but as time goes on, the matchups will dictate. We're so used to having that solidified starting five all season, and Dutch doesn't like to mix that up too often. But it's really about the minutes, and I think we're pretty solid. It's just about getting the right momentum, getting a little more comfortable with each other. I feel. Fiend, any other thoughts on mixing up the lineup from what we talked about last week?
I would have liked to have seen Heidi play more in this game. I think he is much better on the boards, and especially offensive rebounding. And I don't think he played enough. I thought when he was in there matched up with Toppin, he did a pretty good job. He seemed to be a better physical match for Toppin than Ladie because of his length. And so I think moving forward, maybe for the next game when we get the return game against New Mexico, I think you'll see Heidi play more minutes.
I don't think he played as much as he should have because they're behind and he's not as good of a scorer yet. I think that's probably why he didn't play as much, because it's just his point total is not there yet.
The offensive side of it.
Yeah, I think a lot because we were playing catch up most of the game. I mean, after that, basically we're playing catch up 32 minutes of the whole game. So, I think Heidi's going to get there at some point. He's just not there yet, unfortunately. So you can see his rebounding, his passing. He's getting more aggressive. He's getting more comfortable. I think he just needs to just go. You know what I mean? I think he just needs to, he's still probably thinking a little bit. He's still young, so I think he's going to get more playing time as the season goes on. But I think this was a game where we needed the scoring, and it's just I don't know if I've seen him make a jump shot this year or shoot a jump shot. If I'm not mistaken, it's all around the rim and stuff like that. But conversely, I think Miles Byrd is legit, dude. Like his energy is ridiculous. Like it's like the Miles boys, M&Ms.
That's probably the biggest bright spot of this game, and I'll touch on that in a second. But when it comes to Heidi, I mean, if you do give him more minutes, it's not necessarily for his offensive game. You're not putting him out there and saying we're going to depend on you to score this amount. It's really for the rebounding. That's just something we've been struggling with. So I wouldn't be opposed to seeing, okay, insert him in there. Let's see if he can make a difference. If the numbers, as Fiend pounds us on, if the numbers improve, that's the biggest thing we're missing from last year is that size, that presence, those rebounds. I mean, those rebounds you would never think, right? You have to think that way, but rebounding, defense and rebounding, I mean, that was so critical for us last year, and we just couldn't get any. We struggle to get those extra possessions. And talking about Miles Byrd, though, he's somebody that I highlighted. He had 13 points, 3 of 4 from 3, 2 steals as we read down the stats, and just the energy. I love the energy he had this weekend to really vocally bounce back against what the Lobos were dishing and the ref and the pit and the whole thing. I know they said on the broadcast maybe you got to dial him down a little emotional. There was a lot of trickery going on, arm hooking and dragging down and flopping and all that good stuff. And he didn't allow the emotions to get too out of hand. I mean, I think I saw some of these fouls that these refs were calling were just the technical stuff. I mean, it was really is really ticky-tack in my mind. I think the broadcast backed that up as well. And I think Dutch saw what these guys were up against. I think he realizes. And despite all that, I think Byrd is just continuing to improve. The frustration was there, but he didn't let that completely derail his game. He still knocked down these threes and showed that defensive effort, man. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. So that's definitely a bright spot for me for this past week. Yeah, if there were many. Any thoughts on that, Fiend? On what we just covered the last couple minutes of me babbling?
No, I mean, I agree with everything you said. I thought Miles Byrd played really well, especially in the first half. He was the big catalyst for that run that we went on. I mean, that dunk that he had really silenced the crowd at the pit, and you need plays like that when you're playing on the road. When especially when the opponent goes on a big run and really gets the crowd into it. You need plays that silence them, and I thought Byrd made a few great plays in the first half. Unfortunately, I think the foul trouble in the second half, and I think he got a couple of threes late, but didn't make as much of an impact in the second half as he did in the first half.
Yeah, no doubt. He loves the smoke. Definitely loves the smoke. He wants it all. T-Mac, thank you so much. We really appreciate your interaction in the chat and now your super chat. If you got anything, bring it. Sorry, missed the message. Okay, yeah. No, Miles Byrd, he seems to have the competitive energy all through the game. T-Mac, I agree 100%. And that's the thing. You got to love that energy. Number 21, just like Jamal, I think he kind of fits that type of a dog that we've talked about, going back to last year and early this year. Yeah, for sure, T-Mac. Really appreciate it. Thanks again. And yeah, Christopher, Birdman, a demon. Yes, sir. We were out there screaming, Birdman from the stands. He's putting up excellent fight out there on the court. Whew, okay, guys. Let's see. He kind of reminds me of Poli with his energy.
I like that. I like that comparison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That defensive action is it's infectious. Want to see that next month.
His 3-point shooting has really improved too. I mean, he's knocking down tough 3-point shots. And so you'd love to see that. And if it continues, that's awesome. He's going to get a lot more playing time moving forward.
Absolutely. Okay, guys. It's getting a little long, but you know what? We do have another segment that we want to talk about, and that's concerning this Wednesday against Nevada. We want to bring back Andy to the stage. Hope you're ready, Andy. Boy, got a lot to celebrate. Not only my birthday, MLK's birthday, but this week, this Wednesday, we are very, very happy to be a part of. At Viejas Arena this Wednesday, the Aztecs will be raising 3 more jerseys to the rafters, and that is, of course, none other they're going to join the Aztec legend himself, Mr. Kawhi Leonard, who is a phenomenal Aztec. And the 3 that are going to be joining up there in the rafters is none other than Mr. Milky Phelps, who played from 39 to 41, of course, who we documented in one of our episodes with Andy before. Judy Porter, who is the all-time scorer and rebounder, I believe, in men's or women's program history, which is pretty amazing. And then the last, Mr. Michael Cage, who we all knew as pretty much the face of Aztecs basketball for so long, all throughout the 80s and the 90s. Andy, how does it feel? Pretty gratifying to see these jerseys go up, man. It's going to be a proud day on Wednesday night to see these things hanging up in the rafters in Viejas. We were at the pit. You see the history. You feel the history. Viejas has a lot of history. Of course, these 3 did not play at Viejas, but knowing that they are part of Aztec Nation, and to have them rightly celebrated, it's going to be phenomenal evening on Wednesday.
Absolutely, man. It's a big day. It's just a big day for Aztec Nation, man. Like celebrating some of these legendary Aztecs, putting so much, blood, sweat, and tears for the program, and it just feels good. It feels good to see them get their flowers and be celebrated. Milton's obviously he's no longer here. Michael Cage is Michael Cage, right? He gets brought up in Aztec lore all the time, and but I think it's really biggest for Judy Porter. She's she's dominant. She was dominant. I think our headline was the most dominant Aztec of all time, and it just feels amazing. We've been on the trail, calling for the university to raise the banners, and not saying that our coverage is the reason for that, but it's going to be a great day, and it's really, really exciting to see it all unfold.
Bean, give me what you got, man. How's it going to be on Wednesday night watching these jerseys go up into the rafters?
Well, I mean, just that interview that we did with Judy Porter and how much it would mean to her, someone who, already had her jersey retired, but was never given that proper respect and credit for her accomplishments. And I can't wait to see her reaction to it. And I probably will get a little emotional when her, jersey goes up there. But I'm so happy for all three of them because they absolutely deserve it. They've earned it. It was a travesty that the university had not honored them previously, but they're doing the right thing, by putting all four of those jerseys up there in the rafters where they need to be. So good for them, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's gonna be a fun night.
Mike, any thoughts on any of these jerseys in particular? Maybe Michael Cage. I know he was such a big figure for me growing up and hearing that name and watching him play as a 90s kid pretty much in the NBA, the Sonics, the Cavs, the Nets. I mean, the dude was a rebounding machine, and he's finally going to be able to see it in Viejas, and everything the program's done up to this point now. I mean, it's got to mean extra special.
Yeah, I think it's great, man. I mean, if your jersey retired, why aren't they up? You know what I mean? So I think they need to be up, and they're putting them up, and better late than never kind of thing. So it'll be cool to put those up there and see his reaction and Judy's reaction, and then obviously the gentleman's passed away for quite a while, but it'll be interesting it'll be fun, man. They should be out there. You got to honor your history, you know what I mean, or you're doomed to forget it. So we have enough mystique and history now as a program that why not continue it and put the things up there? Why retire it if you're not going to hang out? You know what I mean? So I think it's cool. I think it's a great thing. It's a great opportunity to see that and talk about it and put it in there, and it'll be a good night.
And he put things in perspective for us. What do you got?
Yeah, man. So our all-time Aztecs, right? We'll talk a little bit about Milton Milky Phelps, right? 5'11" forward center, like you said, played from 1939 to 1941. Biggest thing he did on the Mesa was the 1941 NAIA National Championship. Took that home. He also him and his team were the runners-up in 1939, 1940. Guy scored over 1,000 points, 1,043 in an era without the shot clock and the three-point line. So just really, really great stuff. One of the big ones, of course, he was, like you say, he's the first all-time Aztec. He was also the first team All-American in SDSU history. So after winning that national championship, just 9 months later, Japan bombed Pearl Harbor. So just totally changed his life, changed everyone's life around him. Guy signed up for the Navy, but unfortunately he died just close to a year after Pearl Harbor in a naval aviation accident at the age of 23. He was actually the first alumni from SDSU to die in service during World War II, during America's involvement in the war. So after that, his story, being a national champion, being a first-team All-American, it spread throughout the nation. The New York Times wrote about it, so that got a lot of publicity during the war effort. So SDSU, they retired his jersey immediately after. They had awarded him his degree posthumous, after he died, honorary. So just he just meant a whole lot to the students and the community, and he's a hero. So great to see his jersey going up to number 22.
All the previous generations knew who he was. They all knew who he was. His legacy lived on for quite a while. So it's good to see this happen now in our day. Rightfully so.
Absolutely.
Well, I know Judy is ecstatic about this. We talked with her. We reached out to her. Hopefully we'll get some more comments from her. As we said, all-time scorer and rebounds leader. And she's here locally still. She's a San Diegan through and through. After college, it's going to be amazing for her to be honored in this way, and for her daughters to see it, and for other Lady Aztecs to look up and see it as well.
Yeah, man, she's a baller. Like I said, she was dominant. So I got some stats here to read. So at the time that she graduated, she held 21 school records. She's still the all-time leading scorer in SDSU history amongst men and women. She scored 2,318 points. She has 1,498 rebounds. So little shades of Ladie. Definitely. 882 field goals, 564 free throws. So she was absolutely dominant in the paint, dominant attracting fouls, 330 steals as well. And she averaged 19.3 points per game in her career. On top of that, she was a 4-time All-Western Athletic Conference team member and a finalist for the Wade Trophy, which is the national Women's National Player of the Year. So, it's unfortunately the WNBA wasn't a thing when she was playing. If she was born maybe 9 years later, she definitely would have been a top 3 pick in the WNBA in whatever draft year she was.
We got anything on Cage? Because I know that's going to be a big one. He's going to get a lot of applause for any of you who are going to be there on Wednesday. We're giving you all the information. There's no excuse not to know who these names are hanging up in the rafters. But boy, Michael Cage is going to get a lot of noise on Wednesday.
Absolutely. Michael Cage, the name just speaks for itself, right? He was drafted 14th overall in the first round of the 1984 draft. He led the NBA in rebounding in 1988. And at SDSU, he was a 2-time All-American in 84 and I think 83. 2-time Western Athletic Conference Player of the Year. And he has the men's record for most points in a season, 686. He has career 1,846 points and 1,317 rebounds.
The coolest name, the coolest hair. Dude was a beast.
Absolutely.
Can't wait.
Yeah, speaking of hair, what were you saying, Fiend? What you were putting his hair up against any of the what were we talking about? Do you remember that? You were talking about his hair compared
It
to
was like
someone else?
AC Green or Michael Cage's curl, like their neck and
Oh
neck.
yeah, AC Green, that's right, dude.
I mean, you could throw Deion Sanders in there too. I mean, he had a great curl too. I mean, if you're gonna go cross, different sports, but definitely in the NBA, AC Green and Michael Cage had some of the best hair back in the 80s for sure.
Slick. Well, I'm looking forward to it, man.
It'll be a fun night.
Yeah, I'm pumped. I am pumped.
And they got the light show going on too, pregame, I think. So there's a few reasons to get there early.
The what?
the light show. The marketing team's promoting a light show. They've done it once or twice at Snapdragon. Basically, you go into the SDSU app and you go press the tab on the left-hand side, go down to light show, and it uses your phone to go a whole bunch of different colors, red, white. So and it's all in sync too. So Viejas is just it's gonna look sweet.
All right. See it stepping it up. I see everybody stepping it up. Okay, we talked about a little bit, Gwen's number 24, Aztec assist leader jersey going up to. We'll see. That's another one that might need a little work going into, but I know we talked about that last week. We'd be all for it if they could get that done too. That'd be hot.
Give it a couple years. I wouldn't doubt it. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Not only for his contributions on the Mesa, but just for San Diego. He's a critical part.
Yes. Thank you, Janet. Thank you so much. It was great to meet you again. Like we said, thank you for enjoying the show, our podcast. She says she enjoys our reflections and predictions. We try to keep it positive, before we close things up. It is my birthday, so you tend to get a little reflective, right? You tend to get a little reflective once you get past a certain age. And, ever since we've been doing this Sons of Montezuma thing, it's been such a great experience. I was teasing Fiend on the trip back to New Mexico. I said, remember, man, you didn't really think you could do this. Fiend did not think he could really do this thing. And look at him now. Mike, I thank you for pushing me to start this thing on the basketball side. I needed that extra motivation to do it. And Andy, what can I say, man? You've been such a help, such a jolt in the arm, keeping us fresh with the content and all the historical facts. And all you watchers, really appreciate all your consistency in promoting us and what we do here at Sons of Montezuma. So, hey, let's wrap it up. I got some partying to do. Yeah, right. I'm chilling.
Yeah. Well, happy birthday, Matt. I want to leave it on MLK Jr. Day. I want to leave this quote for all of y'all because this is what we need to look at as an Aztec fan right now. We must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. So, hey, that's a great quote, man. He's got some real good quotes and stuff like that. So, but that's one I really enjoy. So, hey, happy Martin Luther King Day. Happy birthday, Matt. It's great to have the trip with you guys and hang out and bond and stuff like that. You guys are my brothers. So, we're going to fight like brothers, but we're going to have each other's backs like brothers too. But we had a great time, you know what I mean? So it was fun to just hang out and just chill and just do stuff together, as friends. So, glad we made it there. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Hopefully Matt can pick us up in the mystery van at the airport if it makes sense with my buddy from Nevada. I'm going to go all in on that, dude. Document it and make sure I send it to his boss up here. But
let's do it.
Yeah, go Aztecs. Great night, great trip, and we'll see you guys on Wednesday.
Fiend, I'll let you off the hook. I know it's hard to talk right now. You're not 100%. Well, I appreciate you, and you know I do. All right, everybody. Thank you again for joining. Have a great night. We'll see you on Wednesday at Viejas. Show up, show out, do your thing. Go Aztecs.
Happy birthday, Mateo. Go Aztecs.
Happy birthday.
Go Aztecs. Happy 50th birthday, bro. All right, guys.